Well, hello and welcome, everyone. It's been a day of small technical difficulties. Sorry, we're starting a tiny bit late. My webcam was not working, and just a few little situations. But we're happy to be here. I'm always happy to be hanging out with Josh. How are you, Josh?
I'm good now, man. Yeah, that was kind of sorry for everybody who had to wait. If not, it would have been, it was just robot voice forever. So sorry about that. But tell them what we're doing. I don't even know what we're doing. You got to tell us.
You
Tell
know
them.
what we're doing. The thing we wanted to talk about today is I feel like one of photographers' favorite little discussion questions to get into with each other is, if you could only shoot one camera or one lens or one film for the rest of your life, or on a desert island, when your camera's just getting full of sand anyway, so it's a terrible question. But, what would it be? So we thought we'd make each other choose, like, this is the one camera, the one lens, and the one film I'm going to shoot with for the rest of my life, give some example images to defend our position, and then call each other stupid for what we chose.
Yeah, if I could pick one camera, it would be a fishing pole if I was deserted on an
Ooh,
island.
oh.
See,
My one camera would be a satellite phone.
why didn't I choose that?
And more wishes, and a genie that I could get wishes from. Okay.
I
Well,
wouldn't
covered all
mind
those cliches.
Yeah. So today I'm going to defend my not defend, but so I guess if I could pick one camera set up forever, it would be the Leica M6 or any Leica with a meter for that matter. It could be the M7, MP, whatever. But I own the M6 and I really like it. So M6 and a 35 f2 would be completely fine. So I have the Voigtlander 35 1.4, which is a very inexpensive lens, and some people hate it, some people like it. For what I'm doing for film, and I'll get into some shots here, it's completely fine. Yeah, it's a little vignetting at anything below 2.8's a little vignetting, and there's definitely some a little distortion there. But for $600, and how small this lens is, and how it's built really well, actually. I mean, even the optics are fine to me, but the build quality is really solid. Have you ever owned this lens, Brian?
Yeah, I think it was actually the first M mount lens I owned because, back in the glory days of buying used film gear, I think I got one of those for in the $200 or $300.
Gosh.
And I shot with it for a while until I moved on to some Leica glass. But yeah, I think it could struggle a little bit on digital, but
Oh, big
when you
time.
mix in film grain and what film brings with it, I think it's an amazing lens. And I love that there's some lower priced lenses in the Leica catalog. And I think it's so cool that some of those new companies are making really like entry priced Leica system lenses, because I want as many people to be into rangefinders as possible. So I think it's cool that that exists.
Yeah, so Voigtlander is one, Seven
I'm
Artisans
trying.
is
I'm
one.
trying to just make you feel better.
It's what it is.
It's
I got-
okay. You don't have a Leica lens,
It's
man.
okay,
There's lots
buddy.
of people who don't. It's gonna be fine, man.
I remember at WPPI, I had it around my neck, and I walked by the Leica booth, and I was like, "So yeah, I like your stuff," and he was like, yeah, what about that Voigtlander?" I was like, "It works for what I need," but yeah,
And what about your film choice? What film are you defending using for the rest of your life?
So this has kind of changed for years and for years and years and years. It was like I could just do Tri-X forever. But the more I shoot Portra 800, I'm kind of like I think but today I'm defending Tri-X and pretty much any black and white film, honestly. But Tri-X is just a really great overall film. I mean, the Fuji Acros is like, to me, is so pretty, but it's a 100 speed film, so I'm not going to be able to shoot that in a lot of low light situations. But Tri-X 400 is just a classic look. It's just an easy one to kind of defend, and I have a lot of work on it. So
I can't believe you tried to switch to the film I'm defending. You
no,
tried
no.
to ambush me on our YouTube.
Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. Like, I'm kind of like defending, last year, Josh. It's just that I just have kind of shifted to color, which is weird because I used to not really dig 35 color so much, and now I'm kind of into it.
Well, I'm here to make your camera feel inadequate with what I'll be defending today.
Jeez.
I'll be defending my one camera, one lens, one film choice as the Pentax 672, the 75 millimeter 2.8 AL, which for people that aren't familiar with medium format is about a 35 millimeter equivalent that you'd be used to of what it kind of looks like to shoot. And the film I'll be defending as my one choice is Portra 800. I'm the one that gets to defend that. I can't believe you tried to swoop in and steal my film.
It's not really that. It's just over the past, I guess, few months, I've been shooting a lot of color, and I really dig it. And I'm like, why did I not choose a color film? But I'm defending Tri-X today as my. I just love black and white, so yeah.
Why don't we go to a Tri-X image of yours, and you can talk about the image and talk about the camera and lens and whole system and how you like to shoot it.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so this shot right here is one of my favorite.
I've seen that you've done. Man, I had no idea that's your work. How cool for you.
So what I really
that was in my history of photography class.
I know. I shot this
Man.
it was in like 1920 something. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
You know what sucks? When some French guy tries to rip off your work.
I tell you what. I had to throw this in there because it's one of my favorites.
Okay.
And I've actually seen this in person. A guy actually about 6 blocks from here has this in his house, an original version. It was about 15 grand for 11 by 14. And I walked in his house and I saw it and I was like, that's it. Like signed and everything.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And his wife called it the puddle jumper. And I was like, I'm going to steal this from you guys. All right, let's go. All right. So here's one. And these are not in any order. I just threw them. It's like
I haven't seen that image. That's beautiful.
So it's one of yours, one of mine, one of yours, one of mine. We'll go through it. But okay, so this was in MoMA in New York. I was with John and we were hanging out and had the camera with me, and I just walked around the corner and I saw this guy kind of reading, he was reading the description on the wall, and I just saw this nuclear blast in the back, and I was like, what if he was there? Or what if he was like, had some kind of connection to this? And just the way he's holding his ear and this loud explosion, and he's like deep in thought. I just saw it and was like, I gotta take this. It was one of those instant, like I turned it and I was like, and I clicked it and I was like, wow, I hope I got that. I just really like it.
Tell me how the camera and lens choice relates to shooting stuff like this.
Great question, and great great question, Ryan. Thank you. So if I had, like, say, your Pentax in this situation, the shutter sound would have either startled him, or me carrying that huge thing would have startled him. Or
he's reading about a bomb and then the shutter goes off. Like,
yeah, he's like, yeah. And so, so the size of this camera really helps. For situations like this, I'm fairly close to him. And it's just, I mean, I don't know how loud that is. I can't hear myself, but that's pretty quiet. And compared to what you're about to do. Probably.
No, I can't do it without filming.
Oh, right. That's right. So it's just so light and it's small. And I literally just had it around my neck, and I just was like, got it. And I didn't have I don't know. If I would have had something bigger, it maybe not have worked. I don't know. Maybe he would have caught me out of the side of his eye or whatever. But and so I think just the size of it really helps, and how quiet it is. And so that's it. And if we zoom in, I'm going to zoom in. I mean, that's plenty sharp for what I need it to be.
Beautiful, man.
It's fine.
Man, I can't believe I haven't seen this image. I really, really like it.
Oh, thank you.
I had no idea you were a good photographer.
I appreciate
what a fun thing to find out while doing this series.
I mean, you could see a little vignetting down here. I mean, and maybe a little bit.
Film? Who cares?
That's what I was saying. Like, it doesn't. And look, you could still read like the description. It was fine. I probably shot this at f2, maybe 2.8, maybe, but I don't even know. So yeah, this is just one that I really dig. All right.
That's so cool. Can we go to the image of Meg for me to defend my first Pentax thing?
Yeah.
That one. And just sorry for me, are people who are watching this seeing the image full screen? Like if I'm gesturing, are they seeing me? They don't need to. I'd rather have it be full on the image. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So this is on the Pentax 672 on the 75 millimeter 2.8 AL, which again, if anyone hasn't shot medium format, the millimeters of the lenses aren't the same as what you're thinking if you've only shot 35 millimeters. So although this is a 75 millimeter lens, it looks like the perspective of a 35 millimeter lens on 35 millimeter photography. And this is on my favorite film of all time, probably Portra 800.
Oh, that's mine too. That's mine too.
I heard that recently. So I'm going to go through and just say what makes this camera, this lens, and this film so special to me. First off, the camera. It's got a gigantic negative. You know, I think when people are first getting into film, or if they haven't shot any at all, and you go from a full frame DSLR to 35 millimeter, you know, it looks about the same, and it's fairly familiar to what your eye is used to seeing. I feel like when you pull up your Leica, or you look at a Leica shot, or you look through a DSLR, and then you take it down, it looks about the same as what you're used to looking at.
Right.
But when you pull a 6.7 camera up to your eye, just instantly, I mean, I think you know this, you can just walk around looking through the camera and it's like,
yeah,
holy crap, this looks amazing. Oh my gosh, this looks so unique.
Yeah.
Because you can see with a bigger negative, you can see a wide scene and still have the background drop away, which our eyes don't really do.
Yeah.
So I love that on this camera, you can be seeing something wide and be really close, which I'll get to with the lens, and have this gigantic resolution negative. I mean, it just makes everything you're looking at seem so magical.
Yeah, I had a buddy that had the RZ up one day, and he was just hanging out with me while I shot downtown, and he looked down into it and he goes, "That's better than real life."
Exactly. Yeah.
So he was kind of like, "Whoa, dude, that's better than real life." So
it has that like IMAX movie effect on everything, on a still photograph. You just look through it, and instead of being like, well, there's someone's face, it's like, whoa, I feel like I've never seen their face before.
Yeah. Let's pump the prices of these cameras up a little bit more.
So, I mean, the camera just in general inspires me to look through. And now getting to the lens, the 75 millimeter 2.8 AL, what makes this my favorite lens of all time is that what maybe a lot of medium format shooters are familiar with is that a lot of film, maybe not a lot of film, but a lot of medium format lenses have this minimum focus distance that's like 3 feet.
Right.
And a lot of the Leica lenses have this minimum focus distance that's like 3 feet. So you're at least 3 feet away from your subject. But something I feel that my work has really grown towards is actual like sharing intimate space, like physically. And this 75 millimeter lens can focus down to like 7 inches or something.
Yeah.
So it enables like this portrait of Meg where we're actually physically like a foot away from each other. And I mean, just like, you know, anybody knows, once you get within that like very, very intimate space with another person, your whole mentality and physicality and mindset just changes. I mean, it has to. You can smell their breath. You know, if you sneeze, you're going to headbutt them. Like, you're in this very, very different space. And then you're looking through this crazy 6.7 viewfinder. And just another little story. I mean, I fell in love with the work of the cinematographer Emmanuel Lubezki, known as Chivo. And through someone that liked my work and knew him, I was lucky enough to get to meet him and get to watch him work and get to spend a day with him.
Lucky.
And I watched him working on these massively budgeted things as one of the most famously gifted cinematographers and photographers that exists. And I watched him shooting people on these 17 and 24 millimeter lenses just right in their face. And as any Photo 101 student knows, you know, it's like, well, I know that that's a bad idea because they will look distorted. You know, it's like, oh, I'm smarter than that. And I got the chance to talk to him and talk to some people that worked with him. And you know, just my own observation and them pointing out, they were saying, yeah, maybe that's not the most flattering person lens. But when a viewer sees this image, they're going to feel like they're 8 inches away from this person's face. And that's going to produce a completely different reaction than this is on a 200 millimeter lens and I'm looking at them from 12 feet away. It's going to put the viewer in a different state of mind just looking at the image. And maybe that's worth the trade-off of that there's some distortion. And that's one of the reasons I picked this image of Meg to share. I mean, look at her hand that's closer to me. You know, it's bigger than her head. That's like photo 101 of like, you've got some crazy distortion going on. It's supposed to be a portrait and her one hand is bigger than her whole head. And it's like, yeah, but it feels like I'm 7 inches away from her like I was when we took this portrait. And the trade-off of use a 85 millimeter equivalent lens so it looks flattering wasn't worth it to me. And that was really, really eye-opening of, you know, everyone knows the right lens to use for a shot, but maybe the wrong lens would produce a completely different reaction while taking the photo and a completely different reaction while viewing the photo. And maybe that trade-off's completely worth it for you. And I started shooting 95% of my work on 35 millimeter lenses and close. Portraits, scenes, anything. Because it was like, no, when someone gets one of my images, whether it's on their phone or holding the print or standing in front of it in a gallery, I want their brain to think, oh my gosh, I'm 8 inches away from this happening. Because, you know, the viewer always puts themselves in the photographer's shoes, whether they realize it or not. The lens is the viewer's eyes, and they get transported right in to what the photographer was doing. And if they get transported into, I'm 5 inches away from the subject, it creates this entirely different reaction. And this is a medium format lens that can focus so close. And that's why it's my favorite lens of all time.
Well, it works with what you're going for because everything that you shoot is so intimate. And if this was a 135 whatever or something further back, 85 equivalent, it wouldn't have the same intimate feeling that you are going for anyway. So it matches what you're going for. So,
you know, yeah, I don't want to harp on it too much. We can move on soon. But the first time I saw Michelangelo's Pieta, which is Mary holding the body of Christ in St. Peter's in the Vatican, you know, I saw it and my reaction was just overwhelmed of like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I just stood there staring at it forever until a tour group came by, you know, led by one of the guides. It was an English-speaking tour group. And I just stood next to him while he was talking about Michelangelo and all that. And eventually he got to the point of like, and look at his use of perspective. Like Mary is way too big. His tiny mom shouldn't be able to be holding his body like a baby. And I was like, holy crap, I didn't even notice. Like, how is that possible? I'm very attentive to this kind of stuff. Like, How did I not even see that? And it was like, yeah, when you're producing the right emotional reaction, it's more important than the size things being right. And not to compare this image of Meg to the Pieta, but you know, her one hand's way, way, way too big for this photo. And I don't think very many people see it and are like, oh, whoa, what the hell's up with her hand? You know, you see it and you're like, wow, this, I mean, I'm talking up my own work, but I don't care. I love it. And I love Meg. So I see it and I'm like, I love this. This is such a beautiful photo. And it's got a monster huge hand in it. And I don't think that matters. And I think the trade-off of feeling close is worth it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's a killer shot for sure.
And then I'll just quickly on Portra 800. If I had to say like this look.
Well, we have more images too.
Yeah. I mean, what I mean,
no, go ahead. I'm just messing with you, man.
Just this color palette of the way Portra 800 renders red, green, and blue is to me what I want my work to feel like. When I get moody light Portra 800 back, I'm like, that's Ryan Muirhead to me. That's the palette, not just the feel, but like that's the tone that I want people to be like, I know this is one of your shots.
Yeah, for sure.
Portra 800 in low light to me is my look. I don't mean exclusively. I mean, obviously, I'm like, when I see that, I'm like, you're ripping me off. No, I just mean when I get my own work back on that film in low light, I'm like, that's it. That's the feel of what you're going for.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. That's a killer shot. And she's so cool. She's so nice.
Meg's the coolest.
Next one. Nope, that was this one. I go to this one.
Yeah. Man, I love this too. Holy cow.
So
Did you Google image search good Tri-X images? What's going on?
Don't tell everybody.
Okay.
I I said good M6 Voigtlander shots. Yeah, same setup, man. Tri-X M6, the Voigtlander 35, Nocton 1.4. The same thing. This was kind of weird. I was in northern Alabama going to Tennessee, actually going to, remember Nashville when we hung out in Nashville? This was on the way to Nashville.
Rad.
We wanted to take back roads so that we can, it was me and John, so we wanted to shoot along the way. And we got to this convenience store, gas station. I was getting gas, and I noticed like there was a lot of Amish people there. And then we kind of took a back road, and we found a big barn that had tobacco hanging, like drying tobacco. And we walked up to it, and this guy come like racing out of his house, and I thought he was like going to tell us like leave. I guess he forgot something at his house, but he was like, yeah, those are the Amish. Like, that's their barn. They rent it from me, and they dry tobacco. And it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
I've seen that in Cuba. I got to shoot hanging drying
It's
tobacco.
so cool.
It was so beautiful.
It was awesome. And then, and so we went back to the store, and as I was leaving, I saw her and her mom, and I said to her mom, I said, "Do you mind if I take your photo?" And she just said, I could barely understand her because she was so country. She was very country. Her accent was real strong. And she was like, well, we don't really, I mean, if you get it while we're going, but we don't really do that. And I was like, I understand. And so the girl got on first, and I probably took 3 pictures, and this one was one of them. I just like, there's a bunch of things I like about it, but one is, to me, I'm like, does she want to be there? First of all, is she happy?
Yeah, she's got a really strong expression.
I was like, is she happy? Is this like, is she, I think when they get a certain age, they can leave. They leave for a little bit to kind of see if they like the outside world or not, or whatever. And then, I don't know. I just, something when I got it back, I was like, I don't know. I just,
And just the contrast of a gas station and the horse carriage and the post in the middle of it is amazing.
Yeah.
I want a print of this. I love this image.
Oh, thanks, man. It's like you're seeing my work for the first time. I love it.
I think I am.
Yeah, and this division here, and definitely this, the gas prices, and she's on this, and I have another one inside the store, but it's not as strong as this. But
yeah, that's beautiful.
yeah, man. I don't know. I just, something about her expression, and look how sharp it is. So that Nocton does a great job. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Something about this I really like, and I can't really tell you other than just the feeling when I was there and seeing her and seeing the mom, and I was like, is she okay? Like, I know she doesn't know any different, but for me, I'm like, man, I hope I'm putting this on her. I don't know her, but
right.
I was like,
but I mean, we always do that viewing images.
Right.
I think you see a picture of anybody and you project so much information onto them. And I think that's why it's so important for the photographer to be so respectful and caring making the images. I think it's awesome you asked them. And I mean, I don't know. I'm almost incapable of street photography or photographing strangers because I always feel like I'm imposing on people. But when I see work like this, it hits me really powerfully. It's not that I don't like that kind of work. It's that I always feel like I'm putting people out making it. But I want complete collaborators when I shoot. I want someone that like wants to be there more than anything.
Oh, right. No, that makes sense for what you're doing. But I'm not scared of people at all. Like, I could go up to literally anybody and talk to them. It just doesn't bother me. It never has. I've been so comfortable with people because they're just like me. They're just people. And
if anyone's wondering, this is the difference between an Enneagram 4 and a 7. We can call this the 4 and 7 show with Ryan and John.
Absolutely. Maybe my 7 does play into it. But it doesn't bother me at all. And I could literally, and I have some more images that I just go up and talk to them and say weird stuff to.
I love it, man.
Well, cool. I'm glad you like it. All right, so here's your next one.
I love that you chose images of contrasting social situations, an old man in war and technology and removing yourself, and I chose pretty pictures of my pretty friends.
Oh,
so
yeah.
way to try and socially embarrass me a little bit on that.
Not even close. This is amazing work that you have. Don't even play.
Why I chose this one for this camera and lens and film is that I feel like this camera has the ability to make simple spaces special. This is in the room next door to me where I am now. This is this is a corner basement room in my parents' basement, and the light is that candle behind her and a window well late in the day. And with like a mattress that doesn't have anything on it and a box spring that's on dirty carpet with puke green walls kind of thing. I just mean, nothing about the setup of this is even remotely impressive. Nothing. It's not that amazing I think I worked with the light pretty well, but I mean, it's not obviously beautiful light. It's not in a beautiful location. It's not in a nice setup. And the way that this camera just renders everything, like it pulls you into it and makes it like a little bit larger than life, can just make, and Rachel's amazing. She just has such a gift for presence and being there and expressing herself physically. But I mean, we were sitting apart from each other in a unimpressive basement room, and just the feeling and the emotion was right of it. And I used the Pentax 6.7 and this 2.8 lens and Portra 800 because it was dark in the room. I probably shot it at like a 30th of a second, probably. Wow. To be honest. I bet it's a 30th of a second.
And it's so sharp.
And it looks like a Rembrandt to me. It just has such a feel to it. Every time I see it, I just get this like, I can't believe that's in the non-impressive bedroom that I sleep in.
Well, you're so good at that though. I mean, not anyone, but most people walk into a room like this and they're not thinking, let's shoot something here. You know what I mean? And so you're just so good at that. Everything I've seen of yours, I'm like, you're in like the hardest situation to shoot, but it works. I mean, look at this. This is incredible.
Yeah. I just want to be ready to, to me, the hardest part of making the work I want to make is getting into those emotional situations where you're desperate to communicate something, where you're feeling something so strong. And if that comes up in a basement room with a window well, I don't want to be like, well, it's a shame this didn't happen on the California coast. This would have killed it. I want to be like, it doesn't matter. Let's go. If there's enough light, if there's light, we can do this. And yeah, that's been really, really important to me over the years. So
and you handheld that at 30th of a second?
Yeah.
Wow.
We shot a couple of rolls and maybe I didn't get them all as perfect.
Yeah, but
it might be a 60th, but it's Portra 800 and the light is a window well. So I know it wasn't bright.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Good skin tone. I mean, everything looks good. It's just like
the Portra.
Yeah,
the Portra 800 just I love the way it renders colors in low light. It just, I feel like one of the more common things to go to is, I just want my work to look like paintings. We're all photographers desperate for our images not to look like photos. And I'm definitely in that group, but this low light Portra 800 takes that on for me of like, damn, I said damn, sorry, I'm trying not to swear on YouTube. Dang, these look like paintings.
Yeah. All right. So this one is another just random portrait I made of a guy in Birmingham. I was walking down the street and I saw him and I just said, hey man, he was carrying a bunch of groceries and I was like, hey man, I love your hat. And he was like, oh, thanks. I said, can I take a picture of your hat? And he said, yeah. And this is what I got.
He would have like messed you up if he was like, sure. And he took the hat off and like set it on the ground or something.
Yeah.
Man, he looks amazing.
Yeah, he just has so much character in his face, and he's obviously homeless. He's a homeless man, but he's so happy looking. Like he's so happy. I don't know. I just he was walking. He wasn't like walking like with a vengeance. He was just kind of happy walking. Had groceries with him, and I was like, man, I love your hat, and I just took it. So yeah,
The eye connection in this is really beautiful.
It's so glassy. His eyes are so glassy. Like
I love the way he's looking at you, though. It feels really, really kind.
yeah, he was so nice. He was like, absolutely. And he just stood there, and I think I took 2 shots, and I said, thanks. And he was like, I think I gave him $5. I said, man, I have some money. He's like, oh, cool. And he didn't even ask for money. I asked him for a portrait, so I should have gave him more. He's such a...
I feel like it looks kind both directions. I mean, you're one of the most approachable, friendly people I've ever met in my whole life. And I feel like it's going both ways in the photo. Like, he looks really kind, and it looks like it was taken by someone kind.
Oh, thanks, man. So I stole his groceries, and I took him on. No. Yeah, well, appreciate that. Yeah, he was, I wasn't like, yo, man, let me take a picture of you. I was just like, dude, I love your hat. And he's like, oh, thanks. And I just said, let me grab a shot. So it wasn't, wasn't like...
Yeah, it's awesome, though. It's such a beautiful portrait.
Yeah, it's a cool... I wish I knew him. I'd give him a shot of it. I'd go give it to him. All right. Here we go.
Yeah. Another Portra 800 shot. I think I just chose this one to show that, a lot of the work you show is showing off a film is showing light on the subject and just showing the beautiful colors. But this one's Portra 800 at our friend Jan Palmer's house. And, it's lit entirely by the window you're seeing, and it was late, it's kind of like that late afternoon kind of light, just where it's a little bit dim. And I should have included the other photo. That was stupid of me to not do. But I started with a side lit portrait because you can see the window's obviously probably lighting half her face. And I shot this really beautiful side lit portrait. But then I jumped. One of my favorite exercises as a photographer is if something's looking amazing and inspiring right now to you, you should walk around it. Because if it's really capturing something, it probably looks like a different version of that thing from different sides of it. So once I really get a shot of like, whoa, this is it, this is it, this is it, I like to like walk back and forth on it. And this is one of those examples of where that happened, where it was just this side lit portrait of her looking forward. And then I was like, hey, hold on, just give me a second. This is really special. And I walked to the shadow side of it, and I didn't change the settings at all, because I was exposing for the highlight side of her face when I metered it or whatever, and making sure the shadows didn't lose detail when I metered it. I'm sure I metered the shadow side of her face and was like, okay, this is zone 3. We won't lose any detail here. So when I walked to the shadow side, I didn't have to adjust the exposure because my settings was to not lose shadow detail. So even though it's very dark, it's fully detailed. Yeah. And I just shot the next frame at the exact same settings. And I love this. I just think it looks so beautiful.
Yeah. And the tones if you shot this with like 400, one thing I noticed about 800, especially with the way it scans, is it does bring up a lot of the shadow. I'm sure that's on purpose, but
I feel like it just has this green blue look. Portra 400 looks yellow to me, for better or for worse. It has this like tan yellow feel to it. And Portra 800 has this green blue feel to it that is just, like I said, so me to me.
Yeah. This is such a calm photo to me. It's like so calming to look at. But also it could be like she's mourning something, like looking at I don't know, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into that too much, but to me, the definition of beautiful, really beautiful, is something that has conflicting emotions. Because if it doesn't have conflicting emotions, it feels like an advertisement to me. If all you go is like, oh, that's the prettiest thing I've ever seen, all my brain does is, I wish I had taken that, or I wish I was her, or I wish I was him, or I wish I was there, or I wish I had seen that, or I wish I looked like that. If all you get is that like saccharine hit of beautiful, then it's just an advertisement. It just means, and I can make you wish something.
I've never heard you say that before. That's really? No, I've never heard you say that. That's
so to me,
so
like,
true.
The stuff that's beautiful is like, I look at this picture of Leanna and I go, wow, this is so beautiful. And then I look, just like you said, and it's like, this is so beautiful, but is she mourning something?
Yeah.
I love it when it has that extra edge to it. And it doesn't have to be big, like, I want it to be beautiful and then I want you to get depressed.
Right.
Even the one of Meg, like, this is so beautiful, why the heck is her hand gigantic?
Yeah.
You know, just even like a visual contrast of not just purely beautiful. So almost all my favorite work has this element of like, whoa, and then a little bit of, huh.
Yeah, yeah.
And even the one of Rachel, where she's just one of the most beautiful people ever, and she's in a beautiful pose in beautiful light. I like that it's in a bedroom with a 30-year-old box spring with kind of dirty carpet with Amazon sheets.
Well, it balances out.
Yeah, because it adds something more than like, don't you wish you were me or her?
Because take out the backdrop and just put it on a white backdrop. Then you're like,
it'd just be like a Calvin Klein.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's beautiful. But then that's it. There's no second part to it. Yeah.
And I'm not saying I get that every time.
Right,
sure.
right.
I'm just saying when it jumps out to me as like, wow, this is a keeper.
Right, right.
It tends to have what I would call a contrasting emotion in it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's very cool. Let's see here. Oops. I didn't mean to open it. Sorry. Hold on. Did it open? I don't know what it did. All right, sorry. Here we go. Let's see if this worked. Okay. So this is at the fair. This is my Norman Rockwell shot. I think oops, it's opened in Photoshop. Sorry, I double clicked it instead of just sorry guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. And this one, we would go to the fair every year when I was a kid with my dad, and so I would go shooting around the fair. I don't know these people, but just something about like just the composition, and this doesn't have some deeper meaning. It's just a cool picture that I like. I called it "Fool the Guesser," but the way she's leaning in and he's leaning in, they didn't know I was there because I had this camera. Yeah, nothing
I
crazy.
love that when people don't know they're having their photo taken, or they're not planning on this is about to be a photo, because it even happens when I'm shooting people. The way they hold themselves has so much physical expression.
Oh, for
and
sure.
then when you're like, hey, can I take a photo? Everyone just
Yeah.
goes into the like, crap, why? What am I doing? Oh, I hate how I sit.
Yeah.
But when it's just like, no, this is it. Either, street shooting and they don't know, or with a person being like, no, just hold this, everyone just is always doing all this stuff that's like, it's communicating so much. And it can be so hard to capture that for a photo. I also like that you've got that it's a photo of all these kids and the center of the photo is a Playboy bunny.
Is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I never even noticed that. I never even seen that.
So there you go. That's your contrast. That's
There
making
it
it
is.
really interesting.
It's like, I don't know, something about this. I think it's because it's like a dad and his kids, and the way she's standing is so natural, and the way they're all focusing on what the dude is saying. And I remember this guy. The way he talks when you walk by, he's like a car salesman. He's like, "Hey, I can guess how much you weigh, or I can guess how old you are, blah blah blah." And so and it's cool that I can be so sneaky with this little thing. It's like I can be a fly on the wall and grab shots like this, because I don't know this family, but you're right. The way we stand, the way we carry ourselves. I mean, I could see you across like a whole room full of people and be like, "Oh, there's Ryan," or like the way you stand, the way you carry yourself, or the way you talk and move, and it's same thing with your friends. And so I don't know. To me, it's just, I think it's all just natural. They didn't know their photos were being taken, and I love the light. I just love the light coming in. And I think this is maybe an 8-year-old shot. So, but anyway.
Can we go to the one of Leanna in the chair with all her arms and feet? Because I actually wanted to talk about this in a different context. I'm not that good at having ideas for photos. People that have met me, I think, or shot with me know that I'm just very observant. That I don't have a good idea of how to pose someone, but I'm always watching to be like, oh, this has a lot of expression in it. What could we do with this? And this was actually during a workshop that I taught in Salt Lake City. And I had my friends Ariana and Mia modeling, and I had my friend Leanna here modeling. And, we were just setting up different shots and going back and forth. And Leanna was actually sitting in this chair. And I'm not saying she was sitting just like this, but I'm always just trying to look like, what are people doing with themselves? Because I think that's the interesting thing to capture, and I'm so bad at setting it up. And Leanna was like sat on a chair, but she had her arms and her legs like both crossed. And I was like, man, that looks so crazy. It's just like all these limbs. So and then, you know, I would never be like, hey, Leanna, I want to take your portrait. And here's the idea. You sit on a couch, but you sit right on the edge, and you put your feet over it and you cross your feet. And then you take your arms and you cross your arms, you know, because they'd be like, what are we doing? But just by watching that she was already like all kind of spidered up, I was like, Leanna, don't move that much. Look at what you're doing. And, you know, people that have shot with me know that's how I am. I was like, something about how you're sitting is communicating something cool. Can you just like come to the edge of the couch? You know, because I'm sure she was just sitting normal on the couch doing it. And I was like, let's make the limbs the focus of this, like drape them all over the edge. And that's like how the shot came to be. Not that I had an idea for a portrait with crossed arms and legs.
Yeah. She's, I mean, stunning, but the light in this room is amazing. She kind of looks like Britney Spears a little bit.
She looks like a lot of different people at different times. That's the same person you said it looks like she's mourning in the flower picture at Yan's house, just with a shaved head.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Same. I only grabbed photos from three different folders real quick.
Look how sharp that is.
And again, this is Portra 800. Like that's, see how the back wall and the floor, they're just white and gray, but when they start falling off, they go blue and green.
Yeah.
And then her skin tones stay really nice and natural.
That's a lot of Frontier. That's a lot of the Frontier too. Helping
great,
with that.
Josh. I switched to the Noritsu, so thanks for depressing me.
Yeah. I mean, just the Noritsu has a lot of cool shadowed. I mean, this is definitely Frontier, no doubt about it.
This is Frontier for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I mean,
that's beautiful, man.
That's just Portra 800 to me. Oh, and this is actually a good example to talk about the lens. I mean, look, I'm on a 35 millimeter lens,
and that depth of field is insane.
6 feet away from her, and the background's still dropping off. And on a wide lens far away from someone, you don't get that unless you're on a larger format.
Yeah.
So this is actually a beautiful example of showing that off.
Yeah, because you can't really get this in 35 so much, not with that wide angle.
That doesn't look like 35 to me.
Not at all. Not even close. Not even close.
Do we have any questions or anything? I'm happy to. I don't know the behind the scenes of this one of what we're doing, but if there is anything, I'm happy to answer it.
Yeah.
But
is there any questions?
Otherwise, we'll just keep going.
Have a lot of kind words.
A lot of kind words.
Oh, I love kind words.
We'll read them tomorrow and drink wine and I'm just kidding.
We'll day drink and read nice things about ourselves.
Yeah, just be cloud nine. So this is Tri-X pushed to 3200 actually. Same camera, same lens, of course. And I think one thing I really liked about this is how much detail I got out of a 3200 speed shot.
Yeah.
There's so much detail in here. And when I scanned it originally on the Noritsu, this was all blown out. And so I had to go back in and really, this is actually an Imicon scan. I went in and really pulled I was like, how much detail can I get out of this? And literally like none of this was there in the Noritsu scan. Not that it couldn't be, it's just in the particular, I just wanted to get it out so I can look through them. And I went in and rescanned it and really pulled out all this information. But actually sent this off to a thing that what's that big? Oh my god, I'm sound like a complete moron. Magnum had a contest and I sent it in, and actually I sent 3 and then they commented on this one. He wrote back and said this one's really really good. It didn't win, but it's really good. I was like cool. Awesome. But something about this one, I don't know. I have no idea. I just think maybe the way he's looking this way and the elephant's over here almost like help me, kind of thing. And so I took his picture and left and didn't help him. So no, I don't know. I like it. I can't tell you why. Can't tell you why. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm running out. You're fine. You can't say that on YouTube. Now we have to bleep that.
Uh-oh.
Or you'll get demonetized.
Oh. What's that?
So we did have a question.
Oh, we have a question.
Oh, good.
Scanners. So you guys have talked about film stock. You talked about camera.
Mm-hmm.
But you haven't talked about what scanner you use.
Okay.
And if there's any like inherent colors that you're getting out of the scanners or looks that you go for when you choose your scanner.
Yeah, just scanner questions like between Noritsu and Frontier and all that.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone knows. I used the Frontier for like 9 straight years, And then John, who was scanning my film, moved on to a different job, and I switched to using Garrett, and Garrett was on the Noritsu. So I recently switched from the Frontier to the Noritsu, and I've been really happy with both. I think like the bigger lesson I learned was I just wanted someone good to communicate with about scanning my film. But that's actually a really, really interesting question. I'm like kind of fascinated to go back and look at some of the recent Portra 800 and decide if I think it looks the same. Because everything I've shown right now has been from the Frontier. But maybe as a lab owner, you can speak to that better.
Yeah, I mean, we have a video on it. I mean, it took me, I don't know, a couple hours to make it. So it's all on our YouTube channel already about the differences. But I mean, just to kind of summarize that whole thing, the Frontier is unique in its color palette. In the shadows, it gets a little cooler, a little aqua color. It pairs really well. It pairs really well with the last one.
I hate that what I'm just learning is that I should be on the Frontier again.
No, it just, you need to go look back at your stuff on the Noritsu though to see, but it pairs really well with Portra 400. Obviously, shot in it just pair really well. But a lot of Portra goes through those machines every day, and it's beautiful. It just has cooler shadow detail and a less grain structure. I don't know if that's so. If you look in here, there's not, you can see film grain, but it's really clean, especially
right,
here.
And that's an 800 speed film.
Right, 800 speed film. That's insane. Like before they went over to their movie magic film, we're gonna call it. It would be way grainier than this. But on the Noritsu, when you shoot or when you scan on the Noritsu at this same shot, it would have had a lot more grain, and I'm not sure if it's a digital noise or what, but it has more texture to the image, and the shadows are warmer in the what's
okay,
that?
So I like cleaner and cooler shadows. So all I've learned from our live today is I gotta go back to the Frontier.
You should, but like you said before, it's like it doesn't really matter because you've gotten stuff that you like better on the Frontier, but or on the Noritsu. As for me and my work, I've only used not say only, but I've mainly used the Noritsu for black and white, because I think for black and white, for me, especially shooting 35, 400 speed film, it's a cleaner look for me. They're just different, and they have different characteristics. So you kind of have to do your own thing, because it's hard for me to answer that question, because it's hard for me to say what you want in your work. It's like saying, should I use the Fender Stratocaster or the Gibson Les Paul? I'm like, dude, they're two totally different sounds. It's kind of what are you going for? So
I mean, the answer is try both.
Yeah.
And see if one speaks to you a lot louder.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, the Noritsu has been it. But I like some stuff on the Frontier, so it's kind of hard to say. So this one's really pretty. I love how clean this is. Like, it's so clean. The light is so pretty.
This is in Iceland, just in an Airbnb we were in. And my favorite thing about this image, because, it's pretty just straight up beautiful. It's beautiful light, beautiful person.
Yeah.
I love that her hand coming back onto her body looks like a horror hand. It looks like disattached. It's like, wait, can that arm go under her head and back up like that? It has a little element of like
that's crazy.
Ghost hand to it, and I really, really like that about that shot.
I love how the curtains are just glowing, and it's like there's this ball of light right here. This is just so pretty to me, and it just really makes her just all these ribs pop out, and I don't know, it's like it's amazing light. And that's
one of my favorite kinds of light, is where the light source is hitting right in front of the subject, and then the fall off and the bounce is what's lighting them, and that's what's happening here.
It's so soft. It's so pretty. There's like
and the way, obviously the big blanket that's below her is just white, and again, and the cabinet behind her is just white. And on Portra 800, the way shadows fall to green and blue, it's just my favorite color palette ever.
I want to see this on the Noritsu to see how different colors are in here, because I can see in her hair how it has some aqua, and that is like Frontier all day.
All right, well, I got to get back on that.
You got to get back on it.
That's it for me, what I had to share.
Oh, okay. I got like a few more. Oh, we got a question?
Yeah, I want to know a question about relating to your subject, like how to work with models, kind of getting them at ease. It's a little bit off topic from camera and film stock, but obviously if you're comfortable with your camera and your film stock, like how do you get that connection when you're shooting?
Every single image that I've shown today, and my preferred way to work, is people I know incredibly well. I'm not so much a collector of people, because like I said, I don't have a ton of ideas for photos. I like to find people that know who I am and know what I care about, and then Josh, I got way more background noise all of a sudden. I don't know if that's a setting or something, but I'm picking up tons of room noise from you.
Oh, really? I'll mute the mic.
No, we got it now. It was fine. Once you pulled whatever. So the way I like to be is to have people that I can have actual life experiences with. Like a couple of these of Rachel, we went to Europe for 5 weeks, and it wasn't to do photo shoots. It was to spend time together. And then when we could get into that state of wow, this is a really beautiful moment, then the photography is almost more documentary in nature. So I'm not actually that good at working with models. I mean, I don't want to be dismissive of the question, because obviously I have some really beautiful pictures of some model type setups, but I'm not so much of a here's how we pose and this is what we're going to do and this is the state we're going to get into. I'm way more of a let's spend time together doing something we want to do together. And then when we're in the middle of being this is a really cool thing, then we can make photos of that. So I reverse engineer it. I try to prioritize the experience drastically over the pose of the photo. That's how that one of Leanna that I really came about. We were just doing a thing, and then I looked over and I was like, whoa, you sit so cool. Let's take a picture of it. Not I have an idea for this all limbed photo.
Yeah, you're just hanging out with cool people doing cool stuff, and the next thing you know, you're like, hey, freeze. I like this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I finesse it. Like the one with Leanna, we moved her to the edge of the couch and all that. But for me, it's not so much about working with them as it is being really observant, spending time in situations I actually want to be spending time in.
Right.
With people I want to be with, that I think, and I'm not trying to discount the model nature of it either, with people that are very gifted at physically expressing themselves.
Right. That doesn't hurt.
It's not like Meg or Rachel or Leanna. It's I have to help them get into this cool photo. I mean, they're all amazingly physically expressive and know how to do that for a camera.
Well,
so,
but also you're so good at everything else outside of that, because I was at that thing we did in Zion where we were all hanging out, and it was so fun. And I had my 4x5 there, and I was like, oh, I want to take a picture of Rachel because she's so cool and all this stuff. And I get everything set up, and I took a few shots, and it's okay, but it's nothing like what you got. So it's not that I was trying to get what you were getting, but at the same time, it's you're so good at the other stuff, seeing that, but then also getting the camera, the lens, and the film, and the composition, and making them comfortable. Because when I was shooting her, she was comfortable, but not nearly as she would be with you.
Yeah, I mean, our work looked like it did based on our dynamic.
Right.
Right. Not from, telling
she's
her how to
pose.
Really good at modeling, and I'm pretty good at photography, but the energy of it was always actually there.
Right.
And then it's just, I'll be good at photography and you be good at modeling. But the genesis, the nucleus of the shot was from how we related to each other.
Right. And so with me and street shooting, it's it's basically almost the same thing, but with complete strangers. It's it's the same thing where I see something that, grabs me, and it's completely, they don't know me. So I see something that I want to get, and I try to make them as comfortable as possible with a small camera and a small lens and something that makes them comfortable. And if I had a big DSLR, I don't think any of these shots would have been the same, or at least close to the same. And so I think this camera setup helps me do that. So it's the same thing as what you're saying, but with complete strangers.
Yeah.
So this next shot that I'm going to show is, this one to me was a kind of a breaking a personal fear boundary. And what I mean by fear boundary is the door was shut. The door behind you is the way into the barbershop. And I was eating at a place next door, and I was waiting on my buddy to pay, and I just walked outside, and I heard gospel music, and I saw, this window up, and I kind of peeped in, and I was like, oh, this is like their time. This is like, he was the only one there. This is his meditation. This is his time away from kids or work or whatever. I mean, they're jamming gospel music, like Southern, black gospel. And it was amazing. And I was like, dude, like that's their time. You know what I mean? Like the barbershop for this man is his church. Right. So I saw it and I said, I have to get this shot. So I ran to my car, loaded the Leica, fired a couple shots. I ran back and I opened the door and I just said, hey, I mean, I counted to 3, dude. I was like, you're going to do it. You're going to open the door. You're going to get this shot. So I said, 1, 2, 3. And I opened the door. I said, hey guys, I said, I just want to take a picture of you guys. Is that okay? And he goes,
so good at that.
And he goes, the dude getting his haircut didn't even move, didn't look up, didn't say a word. And the barber just looks at me and he goes, I don't care. And so I shut the door. I walked around. I took like maybe 3 shots.
It's so beautiful. And I would never have been able to bring myself to do that. So I love seeing work like this.
I had to psych myself up, man. I was like, you can do it. So I walked in, and it was just the fact that, like, I mean, if this was a lady, if these were women, same thing. If it was anything else, it'd have been the same fear. It's just, I'm busting into their personal space for like maybe a minute. I think I was there maybe a minute. And so I got it, and I got it back, and I was like, holy crap, this is exactly what I was wanting.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful shot.
So I had 3 more, but I'll go really quick. This one is my son in New York, same lens, same everything, and it's super sharp, and it's plenty sharp for what I'm doing. We were just in New York on a trip, and Mom's holding him, so I had to get that. And this is Louis Mendez in New York.
Oh my gosh, I want to meet him.
He's a cool
I wonder
character.
if that ever drives him crazy that he's trying to be a street photographer, and every 10 seconds someone will like, I want to take your picture.
So
yeah, I've seen so many great shots of his and his shots.
Yeah,
so cool.
He took one of us. This is the same shot, same trip as this. We walked outside B&H.
Do you know if he's out of Fuji Pack film yet? I mean, what is that doing to his life? His whole work is 100C.
I have
Did he
no
buy
idea.
$400,000 worth of it?
This whole thing is full of it, probably. So I walked outside of B&H in New York, obviously, the B&H in the background. And I kind of like freaked out. I was like, baby, come here. She has no idea who he is. I was like, come here. And so I gave him $20. He took our picture and he put it in a cool little thing, and I still have it. And I said, can I take your picture? And the one thing he said, yes, but you can't use a meter. You have to just shoot it without a meter. And I was like, well, I kind of cheated because I have one in the camera. But he said, tell me your settings before I shoot it. And I said, okay, f2, 1,000 shutter or whatever it was, 500 shutter, 1,000. F2 8 1,000, and he's like, that sounds about right. So I said,
so it was just like a test.
It was a test, and he goes, yeah, that sounds right. And I shot it, and I'm gonna print this and have it in my house somewhere when we move.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
I just think it's such a cool. I've seen this guy everywhere. He's been in New Orleans.
Such a cool. Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen him in New Orleans. John's seen him down in New Orleans.
No, I didn't know that.
And he was like, I gotta catch a bus back up to wherever he was going. Yeah, he was in New Orleans. And then this is my last shot. It's not Tri-X, obviously, but it's a Cinestill shot. I only did this because I love this shot so much, because everything in photography to me is timing, especially when you're doing street photography. And how I got that flame and that perfect kind of thing is still blows my mind.
It's a beautiful shot, but I'm furious.
I'm sorry. I had to do it.
You broke the rules.
I did. I had to because of this one shot. I don't know when I'm going to get to talk about, I guess what I do again. But this was New Year's. They had just, counted down, and I was with Thomas. We were just hanging out, and I saw this guy light a cigarette. And I ran up. And I said, dude, I got to get this shot. And he's like, totally, man. And I think I even emailed him. He's like, whoa. And I just said, he was lighting it. I think I took 2 or 3 photos, and I don't know. And I mean, it's grainy as crap. but I love it. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
Well, you broke the rules of one camera, one lens, one film. So I'm going to declare myself the winner by default. You know, this isn't an even discussion. There had to be a winner. And since you, one, shared Henri Cartier-Bresson's work as your own, and two, shared a color image, I'm declaring myself the winner of the Desert Island Camera Lens Film
All
contest.
right, you win. All right, that's cool. I'm down with that.
What was the gift? 200 rolls of our favorite film. You got to mail me 200.
Yeah, Tim said he would do it.
Oh yeah, Tim from Kodak sponsoring this contest. Shout out to him. I'll send you my address for those 200 rolls.
There you go. Yeah, this has been really fun because you know, it's what we do is talk about work all day, but it's fun to talk about your own work. it's really kind of fun. But yeah, I don't know, man. You like Leica too, don't I? Like you don't.
I know. I love it. I'm just saying, you know, the rules of the contest were really clear. So what you had to pick, and I followed that.
You did. I'm sorry. I had to break it on 2 shots. Sorry. But anyway, this has been really fun.
It has been fun. I love talking to you.
Yeah, I love talking to you too. We should do another one with the worst camera we've ever owned. No, I'm kidding. I don't think I'll
just bring out my Leica MP and be like, I guess it's not the worst, but I thought I'd just show that I did this too because it's really cool. That's what I've learned from this video.
Well, cool. Any other questions that we have? That was really fun, man. I really liked that.
Fun.
Because
I'm sorry our sound didn't work to start, and I'm sorry my actual favorite camera of all time, the Canon R5, wasn't working to be my webcam.
I know we gotta get that. We gotta get that working, man.
We'll get it fixed.
So what's the next one we're doing? Let's talk about that. We don't know yet. It's gonna be next Tuesday, but you're gonna be gone. So
I'm gonna be in New York City with my friend Yan Palmer teaching a workshop about shooting film and sending it to Indie Film Lab.
Nice. Give her hugs for me.
I will.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one, I think we're gonna do. We're gonna start interviewing some people at the lab. Maybe hang out with some people who scan, so they get their perspective on the scanning.
Oh, awesome.
So that they can talk about if you guys are overexposing too much or underexposing too much and all that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah. All right. Cool. Let's wrap it up. It's been so much fun talking about camera gear because we're nerds. That sounds so good. I could just do this all day.
It was so cool to see some of your shots I haven't seen yet. I'm not kidding. I want a print of that Amish gas station shot. I love it.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, just go to joshmose.com and buy one. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but if you go to my website, there are more of those that I've shared, or even my Instagram, Ryan. You could go to my Instagram from time to time.
Oh, I don't follow you.
I feel like I'm talking to like my dad who has left, and I'm like, you could come see me sometime. No,
yeah, pass.
Unsubscribe. All right, cool. So, all right, man. That was
really
so much fun. Thank y'all for watching. Hey, in the comments below, like, let us know what you guys want to hear more of. Like, what do you want this channel to be? This is just our idea of what it should be, but we'd love to get some input from you guys. So leave us a nice, smash that subscribe button.
Smash and subscribe and mail us $5 in the mail. You know what to do.
You know what to do. Cool. Well, thank y'all very much. And hey, we'll see y'all next week. Long live film. All right, cool.
Long live film.
Yep.